If you or a loved one have been given Alzheimer's by this church's use of the CRISPR project, you should take you should take Choline. Looking at you, Ryan Reynolds. Um, I wanted to talk. Well, one, I remembered this thing that Blondie is planning on releasing a movie called Diabolical to destroy the church. So there's that. Be on the lookout for that, if I remember correctly. I also remembered this other thing I did to get the heavy metals out of people's bodies, but I'm not going to talk about what that was. That was pretty funny, though. And it was kind of weird when I started seeing it advertised on TV, to be honest, but it makes sense because I came up with it because I'm smart like that. Trust me, once these idiots get the heavy metals out of their bodies, they're going to want to stop being edgelords. Okay. The whole thing is they can't connect with people on a meaningful level, so what comes out is just stupidity. And suffering becomes amazing to them because it's one of the few things they still feel. It's just stupid. It's not smart, it's stupid. But I wanted to talk about an issue I learned with myself that I have, which is called control is not responsibility. This is really starting to bother me because as I do these videos and I review myself and I connect with myself, I realize how disconnected I was from myself due to the heavy metal poisoning, the hypnosis, and the constant mental bullshit with these people. And I knew control was not responsibility because whenever you're taking responsibility for something, you're not in control of those consequences. I do not know where I got the idea that responsibility is control, but I have a sneaking suspicion that a big chunk of what is wrong with my head is when I was out there in the desert, Jasmine and the other wives kept hypnotizing me to alter my core beliefs. They were specifically attacking them because they believed that caring for others is weakness and humility was weakness. And basically my entire psychology was nothing but weakness. So all they did was rip it apart, even though, once again, it is the psychology that ultimately reported this church. It destroyed it. But they were convinced that they had the superior psychology. The bastard psychology. As stated, Friedrich Nietzsche should be banned. Outright. Any self-respecting nation would ban Friedrich Nietzsche. I was thinking a lot about that because I realized down here has been a adventure in every advice I've ever given anybody across my life has almost come back to me like a boomerang. And when I gave that advice, Blondie gets offended. If you give a church leader advice, they get offended. They hold everybody in contempt because they think they're smarter than you. And then if you know something they don't know, or you understand something they don't know, they get pissed because they're fucking stupid and you just proved it to them. And they can't live with the reality that they're dumbasses. Okay? Trust me, they're weak people. They are the definition of weak people. Once again, the last people who should be in charge of any damn thing. But, I get this control and not responsibility. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and what is responsibility, and I know what responsibility is. But in my mind, these things were all wired and diffused and fucked up. And once again, when I was out there and they were trying to make me the president, they just kept fucking with my mind and trying to turn me into a garbage person. I remember feeling parts of myself dying as they were doing this. It will baffle me to the end of time because it's not just this religion guilty of this. They know the book in their religion is complete and utter bullshit. And I want to talk about this because this is kind of serious when it comes to churches and religion. They are willing to murder for a made-up child story. And it is a made-up child story. None of it makes any goddamn sense. None of it holds up to science. None of it holds up to logic. But they are willing to get themselves killed, their families killed, their wives killed, their kids killed. for this thing that is actually a human trafficking ring. And I want to talk about this. The equivalent to this would be if you met a Lord of the Rings fan at a Renaissance festival that was physically willing to stab you to death for the sake of cosplay. I'll give you another example of this. You go to Disney World and somebody wants to act out cartoons and they jump off of a building. Okay, believing that they're going to bounce off the floor or they're just going to create a indentation in the floor and survive that fall and they just die. Alright? That is the equivalence of the stupidity of these people. And once again, if not anything else, I have definitively proved Stu is grossly incompetent. Their church leaders are grossly incompetent. One of my favorite things my cuddle buddy brought up was there's this guy who was me, who was supposed to die of a heart attack, and then he just walked it off. That was me, by the way. And that's what happens when you lie to people about having powers, okay? A real God wouldn't have to poison you to kill you. You would just die because he thought of it. Okay. But the sanctity of having no agency in your life is one of the most disturbing things I have ever witnessed, and I firmly believe that is why, like I said, the big chunk of this church is the hatred of communism, and that's why they go, if you're a socialist, you're communist, there's no difference, you're going to destroy everything, because in communism you cannot have churches because they create a stacking order. Okay. No matter what you do, the priest and the murdering Ubermensch is always above you, or whatever the fuck they are. Okay? And that is order. And this is the reason, oh, you didn't see that coming, this isn't just a random ranty rant. I have control issues. You see, control issues come from trauma. They come from being raped. They come from being constantly assaulted, which is what this church wants you to have, is control issues, so you're willing to surrender your control to the violent, stupid church. That's the idea. The reason why I seek control, or I wanted control, and not responsibility, but I thought responsibility was control, is because responsibility means you're not in control. It means you're being held to account for your actions by a foreign power or by yourself. I usually do a pretty good job of beating myself up when I fuck up. That's why I try not to work with groups or deal with other people, because I tend to fuck up. As much as I sound like I know everything, I tend to be smarter, and yes, recently I was watching a series of videos on climate change, and one of the things I did when I was president, just really ranty rant, beavers. I suggested beavers could fix all the problems in America because we'd hunted them to extinction, and I explained that they create ecosystems onto themselves because they create ponds, and everybody stared at me like I was an idiot and made fun of me, and now they use beavers to solve all these problems. And there's a bunch of other things I realized I said as president that these dumb assholes didn't think of because they don't have common sense, which is my superpower, by the way. I can solve, not only am I good at dismantling people's arguments, I'm really fucking good at solving problems intelligently, which is why I believe I should be in control. But enough about me. Let's talk about me. When you're traumatized, you have control issues, and I realize that, I remember Elite Mummy God saying this, it is almost impossible for an extremely traumatized person to just relinquish control. Just let it go without trust or anything. Because you need to feel some type of control over things. An example of this is my fixation on having a goddamn lawyer, because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And they go, oh, it's because you don't trust yourself, and oh, yes I don't. You know, I didn't trust myself because I didn't have Choline. And because I didn't have Choline, I was emotionally dysregulated and was fucking neurotic and fucking crazy. Okay. Which is what I was doing in the first part of these videos. Now that I'm not that, I feel a million times more capable and more confident in my abilities. Yeah. But the other side of this is, I believe the Kali Ma dream was my ego was dead, but not dead, and I think her job was to finish it off. Uh, so this bothers the shit out of me because these are all lessons I already knew, and this was literally advice I gave to other people, even when I told people about taking responsibility. The last time I told somebody to take responsibility was my idiot friend Taco and his dumbass friend Skateboarder Loser Man were making fun of a religious group. And I don't even know how this happened. I mentioned that my idiot friend Taco, because he kept saying it, he kept making fun of these people that weren't the Church of the Anal Eating Mummy. They're another super sensitive group. And these are a group, but they have a specific group that you're not supposed to make fun of. And Taco and his idiot friend kept doing it. They kept making fun. So I mentioned it to this kid because Taco yelled it on the phone when I was at work one time. His little stupid thing he said making fun of these people. And it got back to those people. So then Taco's skateboarder friend sent these people to try to kill me because I told them what he said and he didn't like it. So we got into an argument and those guys got confused over who was telling the truth. And then because nobody wanted to get killed and nobody wanted to take responsibility. And I ended up snapping on Taco's idiot friend because he was like, you sent him here to kill me. And I was like, I didn't send anybody anywhere. I mentioned you in passing to a guy I worked with. And he immediately fucking ran and told these people because he literally heard Taco say it on my phone. I legitimately did not actually tell him directly. He heard Taco say it and then asked me what Taco had said on the phone. And then I told him what Taco had said. I was like, it's just a stupid thing these guys do. They make fun of these people. And then that kid ran off. And I realized that this happened with Blondie after he poisoned me with heavy metals and got me to sign the paper. I had a flash. I was standing in the desert and there's just a line of war boys and one of them just ran back in line as fast as he could. Like he beat my ass and then ran back in line as fast as he could and was ready to take it in the ass again because that's what these people do. It's their way of life is suffering's good for you. So, I mean, I don't think about that. Maybe my wish should be like, you guys aren't allowed to take revenge, retaliate, threaten, kill, brutalize anybody for hurting you, talking shit about you people, or generally ruining your lives because suffering's good for you. I.e., if I walk into your house, dump gasoline on your kid, and light it on fire, you people have to thank me for it. You're not allowed to act out because suffering is good for you. Live your values. Stop saying it to people. Live your values. Thank you. But yeah, that is when I told Skater Boy that responsibility is not control, because he was trying to turn the entire situation on me because he was the idiot that started this situation. Taco is an envious mirror. He was always mindless when I knew him. He imitated everything I did. He was a copycat. And he copied his skater friend to a T when it came to making fun of these people. I would argue he's probably a great example of people in this church, and even their church leaders, because remember I told you, because their church leader operates off of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is easy to program. You can program a church leader in this church to think and do what you want, basically, if you talk to them long enough. Blondie liking Mary Bowberry, great example. Oh no, oh, superior genes, I have to get her pregnant. And he ran out. Like, I was like, what the fuck was that about? Like, yeah, he studies eugenics. It's a part of their stupid fucking church. Okay. Stu is another example. I remember the blue-eyed guy telling me to stop talking to Stu because as I talk to him, he's being programmed and he doesn't have impulse control. And none of the malignant narcissist church leaders have impulse control. So when you program them to do something, they just do it. They're mindless. They don't fucking think. And either did my idiot friend Taco. He was fucking mindless and he used to piss me off with how fucking mindless he was. But his skateboard friend wasn't so mindless, and he knew he was being nasty to these people. He knew not to make fun of them, but he did it anyways. And he almost got Taco killed, and Taco was mad at me because he thought I told these people. No, Taco, here's the truth. If you watch these, I know sometimes you do. And you know I'm talking about you. It was you, actually, that told them because you literally said it on my phone when I was hanging up, and that's how that kid at work heard them. I just explained why you idiots kept doing it, to the best of my knowledge. I didn't realize there was a racist undertone to your actions. This is why you shouldn't just imitate people around you, and you should actually question whether or not what they're doing is is related to your morals and values. This is why they're important, because if you knew what you were doing, you wouldn't be doing it. Yeah. I think we're at the 15 mark. Yeah. So like I said, this was already a lesson I knew. And now I just relearned it. And I believe that is just a small example of how far gone my brain was, and how even now my brain is still recovering. I think I said it early in these videos. Every time I get something back from the heavy metal poisoning, every time I get a function, whether it be my vision coming back, my ability to feel, my peripheral nervous system, everything these people stole from me slowly comes back to me. I get more and more pissed off because that was an ability stolen from me. Something that was mine, that was stolen by a bunch of bastards who do the wrong thing in every situation no matter what. Because they're fuck-ups. Okay? They are fuck-ups. And, dude, I was thinking about this shit the other day, talking about confidence and all that garbage. Blondie was groomed. These dumb bastards are groomed to be the way they are. The reckless, stupid behavior is ingrained into them because they're fully aware the church is going to enable them to be stupid all the time. They're fully aware that their money is going to enable them to be stupid all the time. Okay? They know it's going to be easy. They know they're on easy street. They know all these things innately, and that is where their confidence comes from. Okay? It's when things don't go according to plan. These people decided to blow up 9/11. They blew up the Twin Towers. Okay? They blew up the Twin Towers, killed all those people. Right? Now, if that hadn't have happened, they would have panicked because that wasn't part of the plan. That is my point about these people. They're stupid. And they're the most dangerous people on the planet because they're stupid and they have power. That is why they have to be stopped at all costs. Okay? And I do mean all costs. Once again, if this was my nation, I wouldn't be sitting in this room having this conversation. There would be a wholesale slaughter going on. A massive genocide that would probably echo in the halls of history because it would save people. And to anybody that is a member of this church, think of your life if you weren't a member of this church. I bet you can't because you're stupid. But let's talk about it. A lot of you are thrilled that you murdered some guy. Your church leader told you he was a pedophile. Let's talk about that. They probably weren't. They probably said something your church leader didn't like, and then he lied to you, and you murdered an innocent person. How does that make you feel? Think about that. And then followed by the fact that the church has to give you a wife, or your wives need to be provided from you because they fucked you up with tetraled to begin with. Imagine yourself completely capable of connecting with other people in a meaningful way, meeting a woman, and then marrying her without your stupid fucking church threatening to kill her. And if you can't do that, that tells me how much of a loser you are and how codependent you are on the church. Thank you.